Welcome. Thanks for coming back. Really happy to have you guys here again. Per your request, we're going to do a hips and glutes, a lot more strengthening, mobility in the beginning to warm us up. So, any questions? Everybody feeling good? Excellent. All right, we're going to start at the top of our mat. Come into mountain pose, arms along your side, just drop the shoulders away from the ears, maybe roll them out a little bit. Roll out the neck if you need to. Start to tune into the breath, tune out the sounds, and get present. We're here, now. Focus on this. Let everything else go. And we're going to take this into a nice, easy forward fold. So inhale, arms rise, big stretch up. And then exhale as you start to fold forward, bend the knees a little bit to start and kind of come into a forward fold where your belly and your chest are almost resting on your thighs, taking a pretty nice bend in the knees. Gently waking up the hamstrings. We'll start to straighten slowly after a few breaths here, but just drop the head. Maybe take the palms to opposite elbows and just cross the arms over. You can stay here right down center. If it feels good, you can sway a little bit from right to left. Maybe bending a little bit more deeply into one leg and then the other. Just slowly starting to wake up the back body. And then coming toward center and starting to straighten the legs a little bit more without losing any length in the spine. So only straighten as much as you can while keeping a nice long spine. You can release the elbows and let the fingertips, the palms, the back of the palms rest on the floor. Feeling a deeper stretch through the back body. And then from here, we're going to inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold down again. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Arms rise, palms meet overhead, and return to heart center. And now we're going to warm up those legs a little bit more. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale to fold. Moving into our sun salutation A. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms and step it back one leg at a time, finding your plank pose, modifying by lowering the knees if you need to. Thumbs toward the inside of the mat, pinkies facing outside, fingers spread wide. Inhale, maybe pull the chest forward a little bit, and then as you exhale, start to lower for your chaturanga. Inhaling through up dog. Exhale, up and back, downward dog. Taking a breath here in our first down dog, maybe working with bent knees to begin. Pressing evenly through the palms. And then on your next inhale, you can step or you can lift the heels, bend the knees, and hop to the front of the mat. However you want to get there. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise, sweep tall overhead. Exhale, palms back to the heart. And we're going to flow through that again. Inhale, arms rise. halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat, step it back to your plank pose. Inhaling the heart forward a little bit, and then exhaling your low chaturanga, cobra or up dog, and then up and back, finding downward dog. This is going to be a quicker down dog because we're going to actually lower the knees and find ourselves in a tabletop. So knees underneath the hips and wrists underneath the elbows, under the shoulders. Walk your knees in just a little bit, Angela. Bit more. There it is. Feel good? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then from here, oh, we're actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I came too forward into tabletop. What we're gonna do actually, let's come back into a plank pose real quick. And then from plank, because you'll see when you drop your knees, Angela, this positioning is different and it's almost where you were. So from your plank, just bend the knees and lower the knees to, yes, to the earth. So we're not gonna be in tabletop, we're gonna kind of stay here. And we're gonna take some full body circles, some hip rotations. So you can either keep the toes tucked or you can release the feet to the mat, the top of the feet, whichever is more comfortable. And we're gonna drop the hips over to the right and let the chest come toward the ground as we circle the hips toward the ground and then come back up. So it's like you're drawing a really big circle with your hips. Pulling the chest forward and then back. It's almost like a wildcat cow. And next time you come up, you can switch the other way and drop the hips to the left, coming down and circling around. And one more big full body circle here. And then coming back up, finding that pose on your knees, curling under the toes. And then we're gonna lift to plank. Only for 1 minute though, because what we're gonna do is come into a forearm plank. So where your palms are, your elbows are going to take their place. And that should set up a pretty strong forearm plank. You can keep the palms spread wide, or you can make fists, or make one fist, whatever feels good. Lower to the knees if at any time you need a breather. Because from here we're gonna do some hip dips. And if we're on our, we can, take a beat on the knees, and we'll show the modified on the knees. It's similar movement to what we were, except you're not circling, you're just rocking. So you would dip the hips to the left, control with your core, come back to center, dip the hips to the right. Control with the core back to center, and then to the left. Back to center, and to the right. And if you wanted to try the last 2 rounds on the toes, one more to the left, one more to the right, and then everybody lower the knees, press it back, find a beautiful child's pose for a few breaths. Take another full rounded breath here, and then on your next exhale, you can start to come back up, and we will meet in tabletop this time. Knees underneath the hips, perfect, beautiful. Wrists underneath the elbows, under the shoulders, excellent. Now from here, we're gonna work on that hip mobility a little bit more, moving into our hip circles, which you guys are familiar with. So we'll start with the right leg, sole of the foot toward the sky, open that fire hydrant, circle it down and around and back up. And we'll do 4 in this direction, so feel free to move at your pace, finding your 4. And then when you're done, we're gonna switch directions and we're gonna open out, bring the foot up and down, finding another 4 in this direction. And then when you're all done, you can bring that one down. And we're gonna take those hip circles right to the other side. So moving to the left, Bring the sole of the foot toward the ceiling and then open to the side. Swing it down and around. Up to the sky. Down and around. 2 more in this direction. And then we're going to switch directions when you're there. I had a little rhyme the other day when I was doing these, and now I can't remember it. Up to the sky, down by the thigh, and I don't remember now, but it was funny. And I was practicing by myself, just making myself laugh. And when you're done with that one, you can go ahead and set that one down. And now from here, we're going to take a similar hip position as we did when we came out to the side. So we're going to take that fire hydrant, but with an added challenge of core balance. So you're going to bend the left arm so that the left palm is facing toward the midline of the body. And then we're going to lift up the right knee. And as our leg opens to the side, our arm opens to the side. Exhale, bring it back to center. Inhale to open. Exhale, bring it down. If the arm is too energetic, just go with the fire hydrants for the leg. One more open to the side, and bring it back to the center and set that one down. Whew. That was a doozy. Staying on this side, more space, we are going to find a similar motion, but now we're going to come into a bird dog. So we're going to reach the arm forward and extend the back leg. Lower your leg a little bit, yep, so that your back straightens out. So when you're lifting, you want to feel it from the base of your seat. Yeah, yeah, and not from the low back. So from here.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
You
feel the difference?
Instead of my back.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's not a Superman.
You want to feel it here. Yep. So we don't want to arch the back for height. Yep, there it is. Engage the core and the long back. So just as we took that lateral or external rotation movement, yep, we're going to do it with straight leg, straight hand. So everything opens to the side, comes back to center. Inhale out to the side. Exhale to center. If balance is tricky, go back to that fire hydrant modification. We're going to do 1 more here or 4 whenever you hit your 4. And release that one down. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Very good, very good. Whew. And then for an added stretch and balance, we're going to lift that foot up again, sole of the foot toward the ceiling. And then we're going to point the toes to kind of make it a little bit easier for us to access. And if you need to, you can reach for your strap and you can put that around your foot.
No, go outside.
Stay outside.
Just till we're done, okay?
Hold on 1 second.
Stays on the driveway.
That's cute. Okay, so as we were saying, if you want to reach for your strap, this would probably be a good time. You can even start with it while we're in tabletop, because we're going to go into tighter pose, which we're going to reach back, yeah, for our toes. So if you wanted to start here, you can wrap it around the top of your foot, and then you're going to want to hold it with your left hand. So the strap's going to be around your right foot and in your left hand. And then you're going to come back to your tabletop and lift that right foot. If you don't need the strap, if you can reach for the bind, then feel free, turn your chest toward the left and reach for that bind. But the stretch that you feel is kind of going to be up to where you're putting pressure. So if you try to kick your foot out of your hand, you are going to feel a really great stretch in your quad and in your shoulder. If you try to pull your foot in, you're going to feel more of a stretch through your quad and your glutes and your hip. So whatever feels good in your body, and then you can let it go.
I fold so much, I don't know where I feel it.
I feel so much. Feel all of your feelings. And then go ahead and take the knees wide and sink the hips back. Come into a child's pose. Let the forehead meet the mat. Find your breath. Reset just for a couple minutes till we move to side two. And then coming back up to your hands and knees. And we already did our hip circles on the left side actually, so we don't need to do those. So we'll move right into our fire hydrant. So this time the right elbow is going to bend, the right palm faces the body, the left leg lifts, the left knee hovers over the mat, and then we inhale, open everything up, exhale, drop back to center. Inhale to open, exhale center, inhale open, exhale center. One more big reach, exhale center, and set that one down, excellent. And then we're gonna take it to that bird dog airplane. I'm gonna turn around because I don't have room for my leg. Poor planning. So we're gonna reach the right arm forward and the left leg back, keeping the left foot flexed and lifting from the base of the seat, not from the low back. And then expand out to the side. Exhale, high five.
That was
Bring it back to center, I'm sorry. Carry on. Please excuse my disturbances. Bring it back to center. If you've done your 4 already and are coming back to tabletop, by all means, please take a child's pose. Take a breath. And set that one down. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And then before we get too comfortable, we're going to curl under the toes and start to lift the hips up and back, finding our downward dog. Taking a breath here to reset. And then, however you want to get there, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale your flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Big reach up. Palms together to the heart center. Excellent. Now we're going to flow through sun salutation V. So if you're not familiar, we will go nice and slow so that everyone feels the nice deep intensity. So on an inhale, arms are going to rise and your hips are going to sink low into chair. So when you're in your chair, you want to shift your weight back so that most of your weight is in your heels, so much so that you could even pick up and wiggle your toes. Excellent. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, palms to the mat, stepping on back to your plank pose. Moving through our vinyasa, chaturanga to cobra or up dog. Up and back, down dog. And then right away, inhale, lifts the right leg. It doesn't have to lift high. Exhale, knee comes into the chest, round the upper back, and step that foot forward. Pivot the left foot down, 45 degrees, rising up. Warrior one, arms lift overhead. Quick warrior, exhale down. Step that foot back, moving through our vinyasa. Chaturanga to your cobra or up dog. Up and back. Downward facing dog, taking our warrior to the other side. Left leg lifts. Pull that knee through, step the left foot through the palms. Pivot the right foot down. Inhale, arms rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Step it on back. Inhale through your chaturanga. Up and back, down dog. Take a moment here, pedal it out if you need to. Take child's pose if you need. lift the right leg again. And this time we're gonna bend the right knee and stack our right hip over our left. So we wanna open it and almost swing that right foot to the left side of our body. Feeling that nice hip opening. And then we're gonna step that foot back through the hands and stay on the ball of the back foot. Yep, coming into our crescent lunge. So arms can either reach overhead, or if you need, your palms can come to your heart. If you feel your heart rate is getting too high, a good modification is always going to be hands to the heart. It'll help bring your heart rate down. From here, we are going to go into a couple of lunges, little power lunges here. So on an inhale, we're going to bend that back knee so it hovers, flirts with the mat, and then exhale, push up. Inhale, go down slow. Exhale, push off. Feeling engagement in that left glute as we push up. And then settling back into our crescent lunge. One deep inhale, stretch it up, and then exhale, palms. Frame the right foot, step it on back, take our vinyasa, or move right back to down dog. And before we get too comfortable, let's face our fears and try the other side. Inhale, lifts the left leg. Let that hip open. Stacking the left hip onto the right. Another deep inhale, right, raise, straighten that foot, and then exhale, step that one through. Lifting up, crescent lunge. Take a moment, get centered. And now we'll flow with the breath. So inhale, that back knee bends. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, sink. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, sink. Exhale, straighten. One more deep sink. And then finding our crescent, big stretch up. Go ahead and release that one. Clean the slate, step it on back, and you know what? We're all just gonna go to down dog. And then from here, finding your way, walking, hopping, crawling, making it to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. And palms back to the heart. Beautiful. So now we're going to get into the hips with some balance. Play with a little bit of balance. So we're going to come back into that chair pose, and then we're going to balance on our toes a little bit. I know you and I have done this before, Dominique.
Oh, yeah.
So inhale, arms rise, hips sink low, coming into our chair pose. And then almost counter to what I was saying before about keeping the weight in the heels, we're going to shift into the toes and lift the heels. And lower them. And lift. And lower. Lift. Lower. One more lift, and we're going to hold here. Deep breath in. Lower the heels, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, but this time we're only going to lift up the right foot and step the right foot back and lower the back knee. So if you need to, scoot that forward a little bit so that your hips really have room to sink down. Remember, you're not glued to your mat. Move around, find the space that you need. Finding our low lunge, we're going to bring our palms to our chest. Take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're gonna twist toward our bent knee, maybe hooking our right elbow to the outside of the left knee, finding a prayer twist. If you have the expansion, you can release the arms from prayer and lower the right arm down toward the ground and lift the left skyward. All while sinking your hips forward. And unraveling yourself slowly. Bringing the palms back down to frame that one. And we're just gonna kind of walk that left foot out so that our hands, so that our hands can be on the inside of the left foot, coming into lizard pose. So this may be an opportunity to reach for your blocks, or you may live in a super bendy body. Coming into lizard, you can either rest your forearms on the blocks or down to the earth, whatever feels good. Sometimes they both go down, sometimes they don't. And then when you're ready, coming back up onto the palms, curling under the back toes and inching that left leg back, coming back to down dog for a moment. And then on an inhale, we want to find that right foot its way forward, whether you step it, shimmy it, pull it, however you want to get it there. And then you can drop that left knee down, coming into our low lunge. Arms lift, hips sink forward. Making our way into our twist, palms come to the heart center, and then as we exhale, we twist over to the, which way is this? To the right? I know. Widen your stance a little bit. So walk your right foot out. Keeping your feet about hip width still will help give you a better base. If you have the expansion across your chest, feel free to straighten the arms. And unraveling ourselves. Bringing the palms down to the inside of the right foot now. Maybe you might want to walk that foot out a little bit more if it feels good. And then coming into our lizard. One side you might get down, the other might not. It's the cool thing about the body. It's never the same on both sides. And then coming back up to the palms when you're ready. Curling under the back toes. Stepping the right foot back. Coming into your down dog. Pushing the hips back.
Don't bother me until we're done.
Well, let's make our way to the front of the mat, however you want to get there. Step hop, shimmy shake. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Palms to the heart. Now we're going to move into our yoga squat or malasana. So you kind of want to take the feet probably a little bit wider than the hips. I'm actually going to move myself and turn and face you guys. Again, you're not glued into the mat, whatever's going to feel good, but you can just bring the palms to the chest and just sink the hips down. If you need to sit on your block, do so. Wheel the elbows down a little bit, maybe use them to press the knees open more. In the backyard somewhere. Oh, they're cute. Stop. Oh, and then with all the grace you can muster, go ahead and sit back down. And we're gonna work on mobility in a slightly different way than we have before. So we're gonna come down onto our side, actually, and work on our hip and thigh and all that good stuff, mobility. So find a comfortable sideline position. You can rest your head in your hand, or if you wanted to prop yourself up higher, you can, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't think I'll kick you, but I'm gonna move anyway, just to make sure.
Okay. You guys are pretty far.
Yeah, you never know. I didn't think I would kick the namaste sign of my airplane, but I did. So we're gonna lift the top leg, only about hip height. We're not going crazy here. And we're gonna do some, bring yours down a little bit more. There you go, perfect. And we're just gonna do front and back kicks, 2 to each. So we're gonna go front, 2, and back, 2. Front, 2, and back, 2. Go slow with this because the goal is to not let your hips move around. You wanna be a very steady from the glutes up. The only thing that you want moving is that top leg. It's challenging. That hand in front of you really helps with stability. And come back to center here. And then we're gonna draw tiny, tiny circles going backwards, like little dime-sized circles.
I can't see them.
Your circles are pancakes.
Oh,
Just kidding. Your circles are perfect. However big you feel like your circle, however big that your circle is, so that you feel this. And then go ahead and switch directions. Little circles one way, little circles the other. And then we're gonna take this leg and then we're gonna bend it and set it down in front of the other thigh. And you can either reach the outside of your shin or ankle or reach through to grab. You might wanna hold on because now we're gonna work the inner thigh of the lower leg. So we're gonna lift that as high as you can, keeping the hips squared still, and we're just gonna take tiny little lifts here. Tiny little pulses. Feeling that inner thigh yearn for the ceiling, knowing that building strong legs builds a strong foundation. And then when you've exhausted that one, you can go ahead and set it down. And we're going to straighten that top leg again. We're going to lift this one and we're going to challenge ourselves. When you know, you might want to go a little bit lower. We're going to lift it high and we're going to do heel clicks without moving our top leg. So we're going to try to bring our lower leg to meet the top. Yep, that's okay. Just go. Do 3. And I mean, this is sideways, this is glutes, this is hips, this is your inner thighs, your outer thighs, and probably every good intention you had today. Right here, all in this one move. One more for the road and down. Excellent. Bring the knees in, and maybe on your way to the other side, stretch it out a little bit. Beautiful. And today you'll be thankful you only have 2 legs. We'll move to the other side. Finding a comfortable sideline position, whatever feels good. Propping yourself up however you need.
It's not even hot yet, and I'm sweaty. I've been sweaty since like 5 minutes in.
I was sweaty. I'm cooling down now. Once I get on the floor, I usually cool down. So that top leg is gonna lift hip height again. And then we're gonna do those 2 beats forward and then 2 beats to the back. Controlling with the core so that we're not wiggling all over the place. In the front, feeling that engagement through your quads, and in the back, really feeling that glute engage, keeping any arch out of the lower back. Finish off to your back, and then we'll find our neutral, and we'll draw our little circles. Whatever direction feels good to start, go ahead, because we're going to do both. Dime size, quarter size, pancake size, whatever size your circles are today. And then switching directions. Keeping the hips square, facing the side of the mat, core engaged. And then bend that knee, set that foot down in front of the other thigh. Go ahead and grab a hold, and we'll lift that lower leg as high as you can, and then from there just tiny little lifts with the inner thigh, feeling it reach toward the ceiling. And set that one down. Go ahead and straighten the other leg, and then challenge yourself, lift that top leg. You can keep flexed feet, or you can point the toes for a little ankle extension. And then click those heels. Try to get the bottom foot to meet the top. Do 4 more. 2, 1, hold high, and lower down. Beautiful. Good job. Whew. Make your way onto your back. Now it's time to really stretch everything out. Whew. So we're going to come into our bridge pose, but more, actually it's not really bridge, it's more of a pelvic tilt. So when you come into bridge pose, we typically, lift our ribs off the mat and we're arching through our mid back, right? In this pelvic tilt, what you want to do is you want to lift the hips, but try to keep the ribs glued to the mat, so that if you were to look down the front of your body, your hips are higher than your ribs, which are higher than your shoulders, kind of thing.
So you're thrusting?
Yeah, it's a pelvic tilt or pelvic thrust, trying to keep your lowest back rib onto the mat. And so from here, we're going to take the left leg up. If the pelvic tilt is too much, lower your hips. You will still get the same work through your glutes and legs. But from here, keeping the left leg up, we're going to inhale, slowly bring it down so it's knee level, and then exhale, straight leg back up. Inhale to lower down, exhale up, inhale down, exhale up. One more lower down, exhale that one up, and then switch legs. If you can stay in the pelvic tilt, great. If you need a rest, please take it. If you're there, inhale the right leg up, and then slowly lower that to left knee level, and then exhale, bring that back up. Inhale, lower, exhale up, inhale, lower, exhale up. One more down. Lift that skyward, reach, 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 and set that foot down, set the hips down, maybe windshield over the knees a little bit, release the low back. And now we're gonna actually go into our bridge with a flow with the arms. So when we bring the arms back, the chest and everything, or the back ribs can fully lift off the mat. But keeping the knees bent and the feet planted, we're gonna start with an inhale as we lift the hips, the arms start to follow, lifting onto the shoulders as the arms come back, and then exhaling everything down. You're okay, right? And then 3 more of those with your breath. Inhaling, lifting everything up. Exhaling it all down. 2 more. Last big reach, and then set everything down. Windshield over the knees again. And now we're going to take a reclined cow face pose. So, take your right leg and cross it over your left so that your thighs have no gap. They're like crossed as tight as you can. And then you're going to lift your knees up towards your person, towards your chest, and then grab on wherever you can. Grab onto the to the knees, to the outside of the shins, if you can reach for the ankles. And then draw those legs in towards your body. Feeling a stretch through your hips, through your glutes, through your outer thighs. Everything that we just worked so hard on.
I'll be here. I'll be here. Second ball. And I take the big ball. Get the big ball. Now I win.
And then go ahead and switch legs. So take the left leg, cross it over the right. Grabbing the left leg with the right hand, the right leg with the left hand, and drawing your legs in towards yourself. And then releasing your legs, letting them splay out long on the mat, letting the arms relax, palms face up. And I would love to hang out here in Shavasana for a few minutes. If the children are making that impossible, I understand. But if you can tune them out and just focus on your breath, or even let go of your breath and focus on nothing, just for a few minutes, enjoy the stillness. Let your body absorb all the work you just did. We can start to wake up our bodies as if they really relax. Coming over to one side. Make our way up to sit. Go hang out with our cute kids. Thank you guys for joining me. Namaste. Hope you feel good and stretched and worked and